Julien, there you are. How are you? How is Paris?
Good morning, Max. Paris is good. Julien is good. How is Max?
I'm feeling stupid.
Oh, interesting.
And yeah, I was thinking maybe you could help me with feeling stupid.
You mean that's a situation I'm used to, and I could help with that? Is what you're saying?
Yeah. Yet again, maybe
right.
You can save me from my stupidity. Save me from myself.
Hop on the couch. If I can help with that, I certainly will.
This is an ongoing issue, but the most recent flavor of it comes from the Warriors, which is the local basketball team here, who just won. You know, they're just this amazing team that wins everything over and over, and they won it all this year. And I hate basketball with a passion. I have no eye-hand coordination, and when I played basketball in 8th grade, it was a horror show. And going to a basketball game means watching people excel at something that I can't do to save my life. So it just pains me no end. But there comes a point where the Warriors are in the finals, and even I'll jump on the bandwagon. And, you know, it's just, you got to love this team. It's just the story is so amazing, everything about it. So I was doing stuff in the backyard, and they were playing one of the games, and I wanted to listen to it. And of course, this is the finals. So I know where I could have found a radio. And if I'd had any brains, I'd have just gone and got the portable radio, plugged it in, put it on the right radio station, and I could have listened to it. But I want to listen on my phone. I wanted to use my ear goggles, all that kind of stuff. And so I went and I found it online, and I went to play, and they're like, sign up for ESPN Radio for free, then only $7.99 a month. And I'm like, I just want to listen to it. Fine, I'll do that. I got a week to cancel. I'll just turn around and cancel. So I signed up for it, listened to 45 minutes of basketball, and then went on with my day. We got inside, we turned the TV on, everything else. Last weekend, I was just kind of going through credit card bills, and I was like, what is this $8 Apple Pay charge? And I went back and I looked, and it was on there twice. And I realized I didn't cancel it. And then I ended up paying 2 rounds of this. But the nice thing, so I canceled it. So they got $15 out of me for 45 minutes of listening to something I could, if I'd have bothered to walk in another room, I could have got something and listened to it for free. I deserve to feel stupid, I would argue. But when I was doing that, at least I looked and I realized there was another subscription that I was paying that was for Disney TV. And it turned out, and my wife did something and she got a free subscription to Disney TV. So I was also paying $5 a month for a subscription for something that we were no longer using. And I don't remember how many months I paid for that. So, and there are probably 2 or 3 other subscriptions like that I've totally forgotten about. Apple gets 99 cents for storage from me every month that I don't use, but for 99 cents, I might figure out a reason I need it someday. So that's okay. Steve Jobs needs the money. Rest in peace. Yeah. But the big one is cable. I don't know, a year and a half, almost 2 years ago now, we refreshed our cable. And, the way it works here is they have all these mechanisms and thoughts around keeping you as a customer. And the more services you have, they've got all the stats. The people who have 3 services churn this percent. People who have 2 churn a lot more. So when you go to sign up, It's, okay, we're going to give you. So I needed cable and I needed internet. That's all I wanted and needed. But if I got cable and I got internet and I got home phone, which the only use I have for my home phone now is to receive spam calls, which we talked about the other day.
We did.
That is literally the only thing I use it for. And then they also had a home security system, which I don't want or need. But when they pitched this thing to me, it was literally, I think, $50 a month cheaper to get the phone and the security because they feel like they lock me in. I'm more likely to do that. So, okay, I'll sign up for all that stuff. And that's the subscription. And now I'm paying every month, and that's all fine. The only thing about it was a year into it, the subscription, the price changed. And I don't watch that stuff. And I know if I had again, this is me. This is why I'm stupid. I should set a flag, and a year in, I should call them and say, okay, how do we rearrange this? So now I'm paying, it might be as much as $60 a month for the phone I don't use, and then something for the other. So I went from saving $50 a month to spending $60, $75 a month for these services I don't want or need. And it's been weeks and months since I realized it. It was months until I realized it. And now it's been a couple of months and I still haven't called them because, there's the hassle of doing it. I need to talk to my wife. Are you sure we don't need I don't want the phone line. Do you want the phone line? I finally did that. So we're all agreed. I still haven't called them. So I'm still paying the ridiculous overcharges. And there's just this insipid's the wrong word. This just horror to this of any given month, it's not worth it. Certainly $7.99, $4.99, whatever, just let it go a month. But over time, I end up shoveling money out the door that I shouldn't because I'm just too stupid to notice and too lazy to do anything about it. So I just feel like, it's genius. I've got the handcuffs and they got me, and man, have they won. Several months of me paying them a lot more money than I should.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, the entire system, the entire scheme is built on people's laziness, not just yours. And that's why they offer it to you at such a competitive price for 12 months, because they know 12 months from now you'll have forgotten. And by the time you realize that you've been paying way more over 3 or 4 months, then they already recovered all the money they basically gave you the first 12 months, right? So they break it even, and most people are probably not even going to bother, which seems to be, that's bothering you, but not enough that you're actually going to take action, and you're still going to be paying $60 more at the end of the month. So, well, that's the entire scheme, and that's funny because in an old story, probably last year, I was telling you about a phone company that kept calling me, and they had incredibly competitive price to offer. And yes, that's true. They were slightly cheaper than my current package. But then when I asked the question, what about after 12 months, what happens? Well, it's no longer €5, it's €25. But truly, for 12 months, you're going to save so much. And then you can cancel after 12 months. We both know I won't. And therefore, I'm not saving anything. So I think it's just about being careful. And it's actually interesting because this business activity scheme, call it whatever you want, is incredibly smart to make money, meaning that they make it insanely easy to subscribe and very painful to unsubscribe, so that you don't think to click the subscribe button, but you think twice to click the unsubscribe button. It's not you think twice, is you can't find it. So it's great from a revenue perspective. I would argue this is terrible from a customer experience perspective. And if you believe that building a bond with your customers is more important in the long run to be successful than purely getting revenue out of them without them being willing to do so, if you believe that customers do matter, that's probably a terrible business model to be in. But it seems to be a very common one for VOD, a very common one for telcos, a very common one for more and more commodities out there.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see why. It's profitable as hell. And
it is.
I mean,
it is until it's not. I'm thinking. Yeah, I gave you the example a while ago. Amazon Prime is probably the best example I could think of, because they either hook you with Amazon Video or with fast free delivery. Either one of them. Once they hooked you in, you don't want to give it up because you get a taste of the other service that you get for free, included in the package. And then, I don't need to deliver anything right now, but if I cut it, I will never know the end of my series. Or I'm done watching my series, but if I cut it now, this next stuff I need to buy next week, I will need to pay for the delivery. And that is incredibly smart bundle. What the bundle you're referring to is, I get TV that I may not need because I'm watching Disney Plus or I'm watching Netflix or whatever else. I have a phone line, home phone, that I'm definitely not using. I have home security, which I don't need, but they said is a bit cheaper, so I'm going to take it until I regret it. This is a pretty terrible bundle that you don't keep because you feel you need it. You keep because you're too lazy to cancel. There are other models where you actually keep because you're addicted.
That's a really good point. And Amazon that's a perfect example where there are two very valuable things on other sides of your life that go well together. And the now I'm feeling even stupider because I'm paying for the cable. And I really want the cable because I much as I don't like basketball, I love baseball, I love football. I get the games at home. I don't have to do some weird thing to figure out how to get the game on the TV, and then, whatever, getting it from my computer to the TV is wonky sometimes. And, and there's the sports I want to watch. So that's a lot of value to me. I don't know if it's as much as I'm paying for it, but it's a lot of value to me. And then you pile onto that. Within our household, we have Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, Disney Plus, maybe one or two others. Hopefully the police aren't listening, but we get HBO Max from my daughter's subscription, which apparently is okay. They don't mind if multiple locations of the same family are using it. But plus all this money I'm paying for just regular old cable. So there's, I'm spending so much more on television than I ever thought. And that's another place where they're just, sneaking it. Here you go. Because no one of them is enough to worry about.
That's very true, but it's piling up pretty quickly. And you got lots of services there. I got 2 of them only, and I've been rejecting all the others. Funny enough, when we moved from Hong Kong to France, my wife bought in China a magic box that when you connect it to the internet, you get like 600 channels from the US, from Hong Kong, from China, from Japan, from Europe even, with a bunch of movies and series and all of that. All obviously completely free and absolutely illegal. So we connected the box, we started using it, but very quickly we realized that there was either poor quality or lagging, or you needed to load the stuff, or you could not do the search you wanted. And very quickly we said, look, that is free, but I'd rather pay $5 and have quality versus getting, shitty stuff for free.
Right.
And that's why I think some of these services are completely worth it. The question is, are you paying for what you're using, or are you paying because you've subscribed and you're too lazy to unsubscribe? So I strongly recommend that you spend some time figuring out what you're actually paying for every month, and try to compare to what you actually need and consume. But ultimately, from a company perspective, I think it is worth asking yourself, are your customers staying because they're too lazy to unsubscribe? Meaning the day a competitor has a better offering, not a cheaper, a better offering, you're losing your entire customer base and there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it? Or are you actually locking your customers in because they see true value and they don't not unsubscribe out of laziness? They remain loyal because they see why they should remain loyal, and that's a big question to ask yourself as a business if you want to have long-term
Well,
continuity.
and look what's happening to Netflix now. I would argue most people don't keep that because they're lazy. It's well done. They have a lot of content there, and there's, COVID has passed is the wrong phrase, but COVID is a different thing now. We can go out and they're losing subscribers left and right. I mean, I guess that's just people have more, people don't have to stay home anymore. So they have other ways they can take an expensive cab to downtown Paris and do stuff now.
Well, and there are so many options out there. I guess it's probably the time for all those VODs, a little bit like Disney is doing, to decide. I've never used Disney Plus, by the way. I'm not very familiar with the offering, but
yeah,
at least
give it a year or two with your daughter. You'll have it.
I'm probably two, but I'm afraid you're right. But I guess they have a niche product. You know why you take Disney. You don't know why you take Netflix more than Amazon Prime. It's so similar, right? They have similar series, similar movies,
yes.
And one could be on one platform this month and on the other month. It's probably time for them to differentiate themselves and say, this is what we stand for. And you might have a smaller customer base, but they're not going anywhere because they believe in what you're offering, which today is kind of, it's the same thing between Lyft and Uber. It's whoever has the cheapest ride, I'm going to ride with them.
Right.
There's no much difference.
And even the drivers or whoever's paying the most, I'm going to drive with them. Yeah,
exactly. So you need to stand for something as a company. And I think that's part of, we've talked about this a few weeks ago, product differentiation and being very clear on what is your product and how is it different and why does it matter? And then you get the customers, the audience that comes with it. Do you feel any better about it?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I still feel stupid. I'll still change this stuff around eventually. At least I got 2 out of 3 of them done. Of course, the 2 little ones, but I'll get the big one done. And it feels good to talk it through. That helps a lot. That's part of the magic of therapy, right?
It is. And you actually inspire me for a business model idea. I could potentially build a company where I help people unsubscribe by taking a cut of whatever I'm saving on their behalf. People would spend their day just unsubscribing from random offers.
So what you could do, actually, what you could do is you could set up something that monitors people's subscriptions. And then you could charge them a subscription to tell them when to stop subscribing to things.
That could be a great plan, actually. Let me think that through. Well, Max, I'm glad to hear you're feeling better. I think next week I'll have a story, but if not, I know you have quite a backlog at this point, so maybe there will be something else for you to share. Until then, I wish you have a beautiful day and talk to you next week.
All right, sounds great. Thanks, Julien. Thanks for all the help and support.
Thank you, Max. Bye.
Bye.